It's important that as we celebrate, as some of us or some Nigerians celebrate the airstrike on ISIS, it is important that we realize that long-term stability requires a stronger Nigeria and regional counter-terrorism capacity, and not just the reliance on foreign powers like US. But then again, the question that we want to ask is, where is the ECOWAS standby force? Where is the AU as continental body in the whole of this? Or the ECOWAS standby force is just meant to attack countries like Benin because we are so interested in ensuring there's no unconstitutional change of government. So these are the questions that we need to ask. These are the questions that we need to ask. But beyond highlighting the gap, what is the level of the Nigerian states? How are they prepared to counter the likely retaliation? Because this US strike surely will provoke ISIS, and they may likely begin to launch attacks on civilians, particularly Christian population, military installation, and other things connected to US interest. How are we prepared to counter that? Because we have seen over time that if the US government decides to pull out as we speak today, the Nigerian states has not demonstrated enough political capacity will to safeguard its own people. But then again, it is important that we come to ask the question that what happened yesterday by the US government, or the US government bombing ISIS. I don't care how other people may give the narrative, but it's a clear validation of state failure. Because a country like Nigeria, that prides itself as a giant of Africa, a country like Nigeria that has contributed troops, in foreign missions, and has recorded clear success, cannot be seen to rely on US to carry out or to achieve relative stability. And it also shows clearly how ECOWAS regional force is just there to service the interests of the political elite in West Africa, particularly in ensuring that there's no coup. One who had expected that ECOWAS regional force or AU force would have worked with the Nigerian government to clearly achieve stability in Nigeria and the whole of West Africa. But we are not seeing that happening. It is a shameful thing for all of us that Trump had to move miles away to come and bomb ISIS in a village in Sokoto. Bishop, I don't think that we should be something that we should be very happy about. Of course, we should be happy about because those who are being under threat for a long time are beginning to receive relief. But my greatest concern, therefore, is that what is the level of state approach in securing communities that the ISIS may launch reprisal attack to send a signal to United States that they are still alive or they are still operational. Because it takes a man who lacks logic reasoning or logic thinking to assume that ISIS is not going to strike. They will strike heavily, and they will strike with high level of collateral damage. For you to say that you have achieved relative security, you must develop internal capacity and internal political will beyond Nigeria to regional and continental scope. This is what I'm saying. So when US decides not to continue, perhaps
when you started your talk, okay, right.
Perhaps what is the capacity of the Nigerian state, and what is the political commitment of the Nigerian state to stop this madness? The military strikes can displace communities, disrupt livelihood, and worsen humanitarian crisis in already vulnerable area. But my answer to that is that has been happening. That has been happening even without the military strike. But let me also conclude by saying that there's an urgent need for a reform that will give Nigeria the capacity, not in terms of military hardware, but the capacity in terms of political will to understand or to address the issue of insecurity. And this capacity must not only be within the Nigerian state alone, across West Africa and across Nigeria, across the whole of Africa. Let us see the ECOWAS standby force. Let us see the African Union demonstrate leadership across West Africa and across the African continent. They need to demonstrate leadership. We must not just see ECOWAS when we are talking in terms of unconstitutional change of government. ECOWAS must not also begin to talk when we are talking in terms of coup. ECOWAS must also begin to talk in terms of state capacity to guarantee safety and guarantee good governance. Because really, states, government actually exist to achieve two things: the welfare of citizens and the security and lives of the citizens. So security and welfare are the primary responsibility of governance. So we want to see ECOWAS frown at member states who are not really giving room for reasonable and workable governance. And we also want to see African Union in the area of peer review mechanism. Of course, I know that African Union has peer review mechanism where it looks at the quality of governance across the African states. Let us see them rise to the occasion, force African leaders to begin to understand that we cannot run sustainable society with leaders who are just interested in two things: economic and political capital. And they don't even use the economic and political capital for the benefit of the people you lead. Rather, you're interested in your primitive capitalist accumulation and serving the interests of the West. Because really, Bishop, the idea of ISIS, the Boko Haram, they call Lakarawa, how do they call that one now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and even the current kidnapping, the issues we see in the southeastern Nigeria, these are all a result of failed governance. If the Nigerian states would have taken governance above politics, we wouldn't get to where we are today. So it's all about our lack of interest in achieving good governance. And I'm saying today, being the 26th of December 2025, we should all cover ourselves faces in shame that the Nigerian government, Nigerian states cannot salvage itself, that the US has to come and take away militia from our land. A country that sits among the Committee of Nations to pride itself as giant of Africa cannot be seen recording this kind of incompetence. This is what I'm saying, Bishop.
Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Liberty. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being part of our program this morning.
Thank you for having me.